Welcome back to the Average Jacks podcast, and today I'm very happy to say I'm joined with Jon Fox. Jon, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, man.
I've been looking forward to getting you on. We've finally got there in the end. It's been a while, but we've managed to make it work. So the reason that I wanted to get you on is because, like, we go to the same gym, but I also follow you on social media, and I see that you're a very busy boy. You've got a lot going on. Like music, influencer, brand collaborations, and then I wanted to get more into the person behind all of that and sort of show the everyday person that you can do all these things.
Okay.
But what is the foundation around that, and how does it work? So the first question I wanted to ask you was, who is Jon behind the followers, the music, and the opportunities that you've had in the last few years?
He's a busy boy. Yeah, he's a busy boy. I've often tried to, even when I've spoken with brands and people and stuff before, I've tried to put that in a box as to what I am. I don't think I can be put in a box. I think I'm a very creative entity. And I don't know, I actually recently saw something where someone was talking about, why don't you just stick to one thing? And he said, when you go to school, you do all these different subjects, but then when you leave school, you're supposed to just do one subject. Why? And I think I've still stayed where I'm not trying to do everything. I'm just trying to do the things that I enjoy in life and that bring me fulfillment. So, and they all happen to be creative.
Yeah.
So, so I would say I'm just a creative ball of something.
Just energy.
Energy. Yeah, quite literally a ball of energy. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's great to see, because I think one thing as well, and I've had people on the podcast before who are on social media, but you're quite honest and transparent from what I've seen, is that you want to be like an influencer, you want to be in that world, don't you? And how do you even come about making that decision to be like, right, this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put myself out there for everyone to see.
I think a lot of this has come from a big thing that I'm doing at the moment is my self-development journey. I've been doing it for years, but it gets more intense each year, and you learn more about yourself and stuff. And I think what I want to do is I want to spend my life doing things I enjoy doing, and creating content, doing events, doing all the things I do. I enjoy doing. It brings joy to me. So I want to do that, but I also want to put that out there into the world as well, so people can see, even if they don't really care for what I do, they can just see someone having a good time. If you're with your partner or something, or you're with one of your friends and they don't know necessarily what you're talking about, but they can see how passionate you are about that. They enjoy seeing that. I want people to see that too. So it's you might not care about music, you might not like anime or fitness or the things that I'm into, but you can see my passion for it and me wanting to do these things that I don't know, that fires you up to make you want to do what you want to do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So before, sort of making that transition and deciding to take that step, how did that come to fruition? So you've mentioned music there and things like that. So what was the passion initially? Where did it start?
So it started with music. I used to make music when I was younger. I used to go to youth clubs. Funny story, I actually remember using music software called Sony Acid Studio 5, and I made my first song. And I remember I turned around, there's this guy, Drax, I love Drax, he used to run all the youth clubs and stuff, and I turned around, I was like, I'm gonna do an album. And honestly, instantly, I'd done a really bad song, a 16 bar, 32 bar, but he never put me down or anything about it. He was just like, yeah, we can keep working on music, and music is something that I love doing. Now, when I was younger, I was like, right, I'm gonna be a big famous rap star. I'm gonna tour the world, I'm gonna do this and that and this and that. But before that, I wanted to be an actor. So when I was at school, when I was younger, I actually wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a famous actor, I wanted to be in movies and all this. And what I kind of learned about myself as I got older is I'm just trying to be seen by people, and I want to be loved by people. Which obviously, without getting too deep too quick, shows a huge issue within myself that I'm looking for validation and acceptance. But also I have that creative side. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that first song, if I dug it up now, you'd think, what am I listening to? But my ability to be able to put together songs based on feelings, what I'm thinking, all these kind of things, is me being able to express myself. And having grown up the way I did, not always having that opportunity, music allows me to express myself, to say what I want to say, and what I'm thinking, I can put it down into words and put it to a song and boom, put it out. So it was sort of acting, music. I went to uni to study music, and then what I wanted to do just kept changing, and I think partly is because of my neurodivergent brain. It's this would be cool to do this. Because I feel like I can put my hand to a lot of things. And, I kind of needed someone to be like, all right, just wait. Let's maybe focus on this one. No, I'm like a kid bored of the toy. Next toy. But then I don't want to let go of that toy also. So
big toy box.
Huge toy box, right? So I did, I did music at uni. And then I remember I was working at the time in a gym, and I just started to love training.
Yeah.
You know, I started training when I was 15, used to train before, and I don't know, I just found my passion more so for that. And I was like, I don't really know if I want to go into music, you know. And then I was like, right, okay, well, also, I've got bills to pay, I've got lives in the way, so then I became a PT. So I just fully threw myself into the fitness world, into being a PT, worked management in gyms and stuff as well. Just put music on the back burner. But I would still always make music. Like, I've been writing music legitimately for years, even if it's just like a 16 bar.
Yeah.
I hear a song I like and I might think, oh, let me put a verse to that. No one's ever calling me for that verse.
Yeah.
But it's in my phone.
Is it cathartic for you? It's almost like a form of journaling is what I'm getting from it.
100%. And like, if you look at some of the music I do make, so I make anime-inspired music,
Yeah.
but the music that isn't anime is pretty much all about me, my journey, what I'm going through. So I feel like you can tell quite a lot about me if you listen to the music that I've made, because it's me expressing myself.
Yeah.
So I just had music on the back burner. I didn't really think of it and just threw myself fully into fitness. And I love fitness. I love training. I was a natural bodybuilder, and I was like, right, I want to take this to the next, again, let's take it to the next step. Because that's always me. It's like, right, one song, let's make an album.
Yeah.
You know, right, I started lifting weights. What if I competed one day? Like, this is how my brain works. And yeah, just become immersed in fitness and just wanted to share that with people. And I wanted to, my biggest thing I think with me is like, I want to help people. It sounds very hippy dippy, but like legit I do. I want to bring joy to people's life. I want to teach. I want to help and serve people. So it's been about, how can I do that? Well, if I'm a personal trainer, I can help people literally with their fitness journey.
Of course.
One of the most rewarding things you can ever do. And yeah, I'm a purist with that. So there's, you know, I don't know, I see a lot that I don't like in the fitness world, and the purist in me is like, I had a mentor once and he was like, oh, you know, you take things too personally. I was like, because it means a lot to me. Yeah. If someone's not sticking to what I'm telling them to do, it means a lot. So yeah, so it's just been about finding from there, okay, where are you going now? How are you serving people? But more so, how are you serving yourself? And I think over the years in particular, I've learned to pour back into myself. So it looks like I'm doing a lot more and on a grander scale, but it's because I'm just pouring into myself. Because I'm pouring into myself, I can pour into others. Yeah, you can only give so much away without sort of focusing on yourself. And the similarities are a bit crazy, because I did acting in college. Okay, oh, right, wow. When you said that there about, you know, almost being, when you look at that and you look back into it and you do, in reflection, you realise that you're just sort of trying to escape who you are by playing other people. Yes. And like, in hindsight, I was actually having this conversation a couple of weeks ago, and I was saying that on paper, like, actors, thespians, whatever you want to say, are like probably the most confident people to be around, but actually, in my experience, probably the most insecure people to be around. Do you know what I mean? Because you're essentially, it's that escapism of being who you want to be. And yeah, when you said let's not get too deep into it, I've just curveballed that and gone for it. I'm good with that. I'm cool with that. But like, I just think it's a powerful thing to talk about, because again, people probably see you as, you know, the big energy, the confidence, always smiling, which is class, and I think we need that. But it's also good to hear you talk about, actually, there's this bit as well. And that's something that I try and do on this podcast, is not show just all the glitz and glam, but it's, you know, the real life within it. So, you know, without going back into it too much, but I have looked through your profile, and you mentioned about like going through therapy. How important was that to realign yourself and give back to you, which is what you've just mentioned? It was probably one of the best and one of the hardest things I've ever done. And I don't like the stigmas around therapy. I'm not going to say who it was and out of the business, but I had a conversation with someone, a family member, who turned around and said that basically therapy's nonsense. And I don't need therapy. If I'm struggling, I just work through my stuff. And I was sitting there thinking, you're probably the person that needs it more right now. You probably need this more. Like, and it took me a while to do it. And I don't mind shouting them out because they're amazing. I went through Wigan talking therapies. And anybody can do that. You can refer yourself. And I think if you're thinking about it, it's something I do recommend. Now, what therapy really helped me do was learn to value myself, because I've always been a people pleaser my whole life. So like I said, like how I grew up wasn't fun. I went through a lot as a kid, and I've never really had the nurturing and support I've needed. And for example, here comes the curveball. There was a certain family member who, you know, basically went through a nervous breakdown when I was younger, and then I got taken away. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what a nervous breakdown is, but it's, you literally watch someone essentially lose their mind and lose who they are. Now, you're looking at your protector literally lose himself. And I won't go too deep into it, but there's a lot that happened within this time, like of that episode, and all of a sudden my life is flipped upside down. That's a 5-year-old kid and there was no support there. There was no, like, your whole life's changing, you're relocating, you're living with someone else, you've lost this person for the foreseeable. And my thing was always, yeah, I know, but at least I still have the parent. It's not like they've passed or blah, blah, blah. But it's like that, what I've just did there is minimize myself. And I've done that so much because I've not felt valued growing up. I've not been made to feel like I'm important. So then, you know, you go through this transition and having to learn and readapt and go into a new lifestyle, which then was just not a great time. And I don't know, from that, it was like, I've just learned that I'm not important. I'm not important, escape who you are. So the people pleasing used to be like, if I'm everyone's friend, everyone will be nice to me. No one will hurt me. But then what happens when you people please, you can't keep that up.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and act how I think you want me to act, Jack, but then I go over here with Bob. Bob's like this. Okay, I'm going to try to be like Bob. Then you're thinking, hang on a minute. And that used to happen to me when I was younger. So I look back at that a lot now, because one of the things they teach you in therapy, especially if you're doing inner child work, is to get an old picture of yourself when you're younger, set it as like your phone screen, and then you've got it there to look and sort of reflect and remind yourself and, like, you know, like help heal that person. But I used to hate looking at pictures of myself because, for example, the song that I put out called I Went to Therapy, it's the last song that I put out. I used a young picture of me because I used to hate looking at that photo. Because everyone looks, I think I'm holding a bread roll in the picture, and which is standard. But I've got my hands up and I'm smiling. You look at that and think, oh, what a cute picture, but I'm looking at a broken kid and I'm looking at the broken me. So the reason I did that was like, I'm going to put this out there, I'm going to put this song to it, I'm going to put it all, and I'm just going to put it out. And it's, people don't realise it's actually, it's literally for me. You know, and to go back and listen to that song as if I'm not me. Like, wow, this guy's really been going through it. And I'm like, this guy is you. So to bring it back, so what therapy helped me do was relive some of these things and teach me that I am important, and teach me not to shame myself for how I was, to look at myself and say, you know, you're all right, you're safe, and you didn't deserve what happened to you. That's the biggest thing. I didn't deserve things to happen to me. And yeah, to appreciate myself. And like, one of the things I got diagnosed with PTSD, and instantly I was like, yeah, but people that go to the army get PTSD. You can't say what I've got is PTSD. It's not as bad as that. Again, I'm minimizing my experience. You know, and like people that have been through, I don't know, say domestic violence or something like that, I'm like, that's PTSD. Like, mine's not, but it is. You know, you watch someone, like you say, you lose your parent essentially. That's traumatizing. You're then picked up and taken away. That's traumatizing. Where was the support? And I also had to get to a point where I wasn't angry anymore, where you get angry at people for how you treated you. Now I've got to a point where I'm like, okay, do you know what? I realised you didn't have the means to support me the way you needed to. I'm not mad at that now. That's okay. But I'm going to distance myself because I'm now parenting myself the way that I needed. So I'm parenting my inner child. So therapy just helped me with that. And we did some really intense work on working on some of my most traumatizing memories, like, how deep do you want to go? We can go into some. I don't want to get you upset or anything. But this share what you want to share. I can talk about things because I've worked through them, and like, we joked about it downstairs. We went to the toilet, and obviously I said to you, I'm going to go for the anxiety week. I've got a thing, right? So I've been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, right? So I've got this thing where if I get anxious, I need a wee. I don't know why. I can get ready. I'm like, right. Even here, I got here, I was fine. I went to the toilet twice before I came here. As soon as we got here, I was like, I need another week, right? So, but when I was younger, I used to wet the bed. A lot of kids wet the bed. It happens. But mine was as a result of feeling unsafe and anxiety. Again, the people that was looking after me they didn't know that, but I was shamed for it. Rather than, why is this happening? I was shamed for it, like, shouted at, beaten, face rubbed in my own whiz. Do you know what I mean? Like, things like this, and it's like, there's no reason that should have happened. But again, what that showed me is I'm struggling. No one's helping me understand why I'm struggling. I'm not important, obviously. You know, and it's the shame created around it. So again, therapy's helped rewire that. And we've worked through these memories and say, like, that shouldn't have happened. So yeah, it's helped me like myself a lot more. Align myself with who I actually am. Like, cool, what do you like? What don't you like? What do you know? And allow me to feel confident enough to just be authentically me. And if people don't like that, that's cool. They don't need to. I don't like everyone. I know you say, well, I'm a smiley big energy guy, but I don't like everyone. I get annoyed at stuff, you know, and I'm a human. But yeah, it helped me really want to just be proud of the person that I am, so keep working on myself. And I'm not saying I walk around like the patron saint of what, no, I'm not walking around like with a halo above my head, but it does make me more conscious and aware and trying to just make sure that, yeah, like I said earlier, I'm living happy and I'm living as I want to live. If other people don't like that, that's cool. You're not the one going to bed at night. You're not looking in the mirror and seeing me. I am. So if I'm happy, that's what matters.
That's so powerful, Matt. Thank you for sharing that.
That's right.
But like, it's just class, and it shows that the journey that people can go through from, you know, being where you was and then where you are. But also, I think it highlights that. I'm going to assume it wasn't. It's quite recent, your journey with therapy.
I think it'll be 2 years this year.
Yeah. So like, if you look at everything you've done prior to that, and probably the general misconception of what people would have seen, you know, doing the music, doing what you're doing, the bodybuilding, they'd be like, God, Betty's this confident, happy-go-lucky, never had any...
Couldn't be further from it.
Exactly,
Honestly.
But I think it shows, like, the message that we don't always know what people are going through, like, behind it. But, yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's super powerful. And there was just bits in it that just, like, came to mind, and just, like, questions that just stemmed from it naturally. But, you know, you talked about the song, I went to therapy. What was that like to release that? And, you know, not powerful for you, like you mentioned it, but to put that, to express that and sort of pull down the guard and be like, here you go, everyone.
Here I am on the plate.
Yeah.
I think, so there's two things with this. Like, part of it is me wanting to show this side. That's why I'm also grateful that I can share this with you, because people do, I don't, it's crazy, I don't know people's perception of me. I try not to think about it too much, you know, like I know what I see when I see me. Like, I watch my Instagram stories and I'm like, you're a pretty cool guy, you know, it's like, but I don't know if people are thinking that, or they're thinking this guy's doing too much, you know, like, but I'm not, that's not gonna run me. So part of me doing that song was like, I'm gonna put this out there for me because I wanna heal from hearing it. I wanna hear, like, I'm a music man, I love music, right? And I love it when I just listen to music without even thinking, and I'm just taking things in. So I wanna be able to listen to my own songs like that. And I want me to be able to listen to me tell my story so I can feel comfort, you know, because there's other artists, I listen to their music, I can relate, you know, we can relate to feelings and stuff. That's why we were obviously speaking about it earlier, but I wanted to tell my story so I could heal from that. And I remember when I first heard the beat, it was like the big beat pack that I was flicking through, and I heard it and I was like, instantly I was like, I know what I'm doing for this. Yeah. And as I was writing it, I was crying. I was getting upset, and I was like, and it was just like, I'm getting upset and I'm like, line, I've got another line, like it was just all pouring out. And then like, when I recorded it, it just really felt like a huge weight off my chest, because it was like, wow. Because one, this is a really good song. But two, like, wow, like I've said it in such a way and I've listened to it back, and it is like I say, it's like me, literally, you know, like, ever since Doctor Strange, you know, he gets knocked out of his body, and it's it's like, right, I've done that, and I'm looking back at me listening to it, and it's really comforting. And the irony of it, I don't listen to that song all the time now. So there's a couple of other songs that I've put out like that. There's one called Clown. This one's really deep. So here we go. So I make anime-inspired music. Now, in the anime world, if you've got an anime, say Dragon Ball, and then a film comes out that's not actually part of the storyline, it's called not canon, right? It's not canon, right? For those who don't know. So my music that's not anime focused, I call my not canon music. So I've done an EP called This Is Not Canon, because it's not anime music, but it's all about me and my journey. Every song tells a different story, and Clown is about my inner voice that we identified in therapy. So I identified that I've got two voices in therapy. One is a horrible voice that always puts me down, that speaks to me every day. Like, you see me in the gym all the time, I'm filming sets and stuff like that. That voice instantly will say to me, like, bro, why are you filming this for? I've got good at being able to silence it, because the other voice is like, well, why not? And I've had to learn that difference. You know, it's like, well, who do you think you are? Who cares if you're filming stuff? The other guy's like, well, you know, be bold enough to do it. Cool. You know, so I battle with that. So I made a song called Clown, and it's literally me versus me. And it's quite a dark song. And some of the stuff I mention in it is dark because it's what I went through. And my feelings of what I went through, I probably listened to that song a handful of times. Because I can't listen to it. Because I've kind of recorded it, put it out there, I've listened to it, and I'm like, cool, go. I don't want to put myself into that head.
I suppose.
It's like when people say, if you're struggling, write your problems down, rip it up, or put it away. It's literally that. But the thing I feel with my music is powerful enough to put out so people can listen to it and they can relate to it. You know, they might think, someone might listen to I Need Therapy and think, I went to therapy and think, you know what, maybe I might try that. You know, and if people do have this perception of me, of all the things that I do, because I do some cool stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and again, I've got to say, yeah, bro, like you really do. They might look at me saying that and think, I tell you what, if Jon can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
That's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything.
It's attainable.
100%.
Yeah. And again, it just like, it perfectly highlights why I thought this would be a good conversation. And again, I'm so appreciative of you like going into it and, you know, being transparent and emotional is probably the wrong word, but you get what I mean?
Yeah,
like being honest and sort of
yeah.
like telling people what the emotions were that you've been through and what you navigate. And a big question that I wanted to ask, and I think you've answered it on one account, is what does the music provide that the fitness content doesn't, and vice versa? Like what itches what, if that makes sense?
Yeah. I think fitness, I hate to quote The Rock, but The Rock talks about fitness as being his anchor.
Yeah.
Fitness is my anchor, it's my grounding, it's my humbling, because it don't matter who you are, if you could be the biggest, baddest man on the planet, you get under a bar, if you can't lift it, it will squash you. Like, it's
humble,
100%. It's so humbling. And like, you know, having done bodybuilding, you know, even though it is a choice to do bodybuilding, you know, when you're completely depleted and you're hungry on food, but you're still going in and smashing full training sessions, it just helps with resilience and things like that. So training will always be my anchor. It makes me feel good, you know, and from when I was younger, I think it's because I always obviously wanted to feel protected and safe. I like big muscles. I like being strong. I like the thought of being strong and the thought of me being strong enough to carry all the rubbish I got to carry, but also for the younger me to look at and be like, it's cool, big bro's got me. You know, that kind of dynamic that I've got within myself. So fitness has always provided that. I think, you know, I wanted to help people with fitness and with their journeys and stuff, but I felt like I also wanted to do more. And I'll be honest, like, I just got tired of doing it. I've done it for so long and was just like, I'm not trying to be a big successful coach that's scaling their business and all this and that. I don't care for that. Like, I care about the pureness of it. Great from a human perspective, but not from a business perspective, because you could be rich, successful living in Dubai, but you know what? I'm happy with who I am. So, and I think music is become like I say, it's that creative outlet. I can't explain why. It's most likely because of ADHD, but I have to express myself creatively. And music is something, and fitness is something that they both work together in. They can keep my attention. Like, I could say to my partner, like, she's at work, I'm like, right, I've got the day off, I'm gonna go gym, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna do this and that. Bro, I can train, come home, start editing some videos or write a song, I will be there. I'm not moving. And I'm legit, like, I've been stood in some weird positions, like, well, I don't even want to go for a shower yet, because if I go for a shower, it's going to break my creative flow. So I'm like, they both just keep me engrossed. I think music, although it provides that creative expressiveness for me, like, I've not made any music this year because financially I've just not been able to focus on that and prioritize that. And performing, I love it. Like, I went to perform at Cyprus Comic Con last year and it was incredible, and you got a crowd of people that actually know your songs and stuff. It's amazing, but I don't know if I actually want to do that. You know, there is that element of I've done it and it's cool. You know, I've been all around the UK performing songs and stuff, and it's like, yeah, this is amazing, but I don't know if I want to do that. You know, whereas fitness, I'll always do it wherever we go. I'll run onto a field and train on the field. Like, I love exercise, and I love that feeling of, like I said, I've not been able to make much music today. So I've been deprived. Still been able to go gym. Even if I couldn't afford my gym membership, I can go outside and I can train. So that's one thing I can always do and always come back to and always humble me. So I'd say that's probably the difference between the two.
And it makes perfect sense. I always see it as your mind's a bit like a pressure cooker. And I feel like fitness is the best thing to alleviate some of that pressure. Regardless of what you do, even if it's just going out for a walk, even if it's just, you know, stretching, which is the worst thing in the world in comparison to
I've seen you in the gym. You actually do your stretching.
A little bit, yeah. See, you can quote that. My coach can listen to that now, and I'm going to clip it.
I'm your witness. I've seen it.
Yes, knew I'd get it in some way. But yeah, but like, again, and I can understand sort of the creative process from that, and I think journaling and like gratitude journaling are very big buzzwords in like the world and maybe like the industry and self-development and things. But I think that is, again, teaching people how to almost have that creative output, because it's so important, isn't it? And like, you think about the times of sometimes you just get lost in, like, you know, doodling, drawing, things like that, and it takes your minds off things and you forget about things. So I imagine that, you know, being able to do that on a scale of which you do it with music is just sort of all encompassing.
It is, but then also, it then also presents more barriers because there has been times when, say, I'm burnt out and I'm tired. I've dragged myself to the gym at the depths of hell. Like, I've been at the worst of the worst. Whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, I've dragged myself to the gym. I can always go there. But then there are times when I literally can't, like, I get like writer's block, and then that frustrates the life out of me. And it literally, like, it stops me dead in my tracks, where I can't do anything else because I'm desperately trying to think of something. Then I'm trying to find the right instrumental, because for me, again, being in touch with music and stuff, like, I can write to pretty much anything, but like, there's some instrumentals you just hear and I can't explain it. It's literally just like, boom, line. I've written songs in fast as like 15, 20 minutes because I'm just going. But then if I've not got that and I can't, and I'm like, I can't find the right beat. I can't. It's like, have you ever been in the gym and not been able to find the right song to train to?
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
And then it's me then getting frustrated at myself because like, why can't you create? And then it's, mate, it becomes this whole thing. It's this big block, and then it's like, okay, just put it to the side. Whereas fitness, I ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah.
I've done this so long now, and I can just autonomously go, and even if as I go around, I'm like, do you know what, I'm just going to do shoulders today. Yeah. I'm just going to do some shoulders. You know, they're not hurting. I don't have to think because I've done it that long. So I think it's not, training isn't as creative, of course, as actually being creative like that, but it does help with dopamine, with all these kind of things. So that's why it's always a good anchor to go to. I think the creating the content side of things is then what allows me to make that creative. You know, like, okay, cool, I'm obsessed with this thing. I love this thing. How can I get creative with it to kind of fill that gap? It's never going to fill the gap that music does, but it does do a good job. It does do a good job of it, you know, and like I say, not made no music this year. So it's like, I would have been, if I was relying on that, that would have destroyed me mentally, you know, whereas I'm a bit like, I do really want to make some music, but I'm not bursting at the seams. Whereas this morning I couldn't wait to train. Yeah. You know?
It's almost the trainings are non-negotiable.
100%, 100% non-negotiable.
So you've mentioned a few times about like burnout and, you know, the big toy box and wanting the new things and stuff. How do you prioritise and keep things on track? Because it sounds like a bit of a task for you.
Oh yeah.
But what are the tools that you've learned on how to, you know, make that better or deal with it slightly better?
That's a really good question. Because I don't know. It's the truth. I just like. It's a really good question. It's because, like, all right, so for example, a few years ago, like, obviously, you know, my sleep's awful. I went in and tracked my sleep and got up my old stats. You know, a couple of years ago, my average sleep a night was 3 hours, 46 minutes.
Wow.
And I was doing everything on that. But that's, again, because I think I've got this, and this obviously comes from my childhood and all this kind of stuff. I don't want to be beaten. I don't want to be like, I'm exhausted. Why am I exhausted? I'm exhausted because work's stressing me out. This. Okay, you're not stopping me from going to the gym. I've got free will. You're not stopping that. So I can go in. It might be the worst session in the world, but you're not stopping me. And I think I've got this desire to not be stopped because I want to do the things I want to do. And past that, there's other goals I want to achieve. There's levels that I still want to get to, but I at least want to enjoy where I'm at. But what I think is, and again, hate to quote frameworks and stuff, but like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'll look at where I'm at, you know, like, so currently, home, bills, everything's sorted, everything's cool. So if that's all right, what else can you focus on? Health, very important. So what can you do to keep your, like, I prioritize things like that as to what is the most important to me. And I think this is where I'm kind of lucky with fitness, because fitness and health to me is very important, you know, so it kind of, to me, paying your bills, surviving, living well, and having good health, they're like my three most important, you know, so it's, and then the other stuff sort of comes on top. But I've been, a permanently exhausted pigeon for a long, long time. And don't get me wrong, I've got much better. But again, this goes to when I was saying that I don't feel like I'm important. Yeah. It's like, I'm not, like, you taught things when you grow up, and I've seen things when I grow up, like, you know, rest when you're dead, and rest. I saw this recently, and it was so powerful. It spoke to me. It was saying that rest is not a reward. Yeah. Rest has always been a reward for me. Yeah. And it's like, my whole thing is like, okay, you're trying to get to here. You're like here. Why are you resting for? Yeah. What you chilling about? Like, and like some of the older guys when I was younger, you know, like if you go out and stuff like that, they're like, what are you not celebrating? Like, aren't you broke? Aren't you in a job you hate? What are you celebrating? And these things have stuck in my head subconsciously, and like, my attitude has always been, you're not where you want to be, so why are you resting? Whereas I've learned that, okay, I'm a high performer. I know I'm a high performance vehicle, But in order to be that, I need to be rested and fueled.
Needs to go back in the garage every now and again.
Exactly that, exactly that. You need to make sure you're putting in your oil. You're not driving the car today. Don't drive the car, give the car a break. Other tyres sorted, and it's a bit like having a car after cars, to be honest. I'm useless with cars. I think it's really ironic I can compare it to that. You know, even this morning I was like, I should probably check my oil. But I think, again, I'm not trying to do too much in regards where I'm trying to do everything, but I'm just trying to maximize the things that I do enjoy doing. Because I want to enjoy, if I'm going to be burnt out, exhausted, and what I've described as being like, what's it called? Like a functional depressant. You know, like you get functional alcoholics.
Yeah.
I've got functional depression, if that's a thing. Like, or high functioning depression, where I have spent years depressed. And I'd say I'm probably still thereabouts at the moment. Like, I mean, I had a big breakdown about a month ago, which has been the worst I think I've ever had. Like, it really caught me off guard. Yeah. But I don't want that to stop me from living the best I can. I'm not going to be able to be full force, but I can still do what I can. And I think, again, I don't want to be beaten by life. I want to enjoy it. I've been through so much for like this first quarter or third or whatever it is of my life. Hopefully I'm going to live forever. But I've been through so much here that like I want to enjoy this next part. But I can take rather than let it pay me, I can take what I've learned here and I can take all the lessons, all the things you've learned and apply it to make this bit better. Yeah. So I'm not going into old habits. You know, like I had an awful night's sleep last night and the night before. And I was like, bro, you used to function like this. Yeah. You know, like now I get like 5 hours sleep. If I get 5 hours sleep, I'm like, man, I'm struggling. But I'm like, bro, there was days when you'd only get 2, 3. Yeah. You know, so, but it's because I'm saying to myself, rest isn't a reward. You're important. You matter. You deserve to have a good night's sleep. So let's pour back into you. Because otherwise, you're not going to be able to pour into others. No. You know? And
that, it all seems to always come back to that value of, you know, wanting to help others. And at what point did you realise, because you mentioned it before, and trying to not go over the same topic, that you can put too much into someone else's cup and not fill your own? How hard was that when you learned that skill to say no to people?
That's one of the hardest things ever, because you feel selfish. You feel like, because you're putting a boundary in place, essentially, and it's not how you're used to doing things, it's unfamiliar. So, you know, our bodies are usually wired to, I was talking to someone literally about this yesterday, our bodies are wired to be in, you know, fight or flight mode. It's better to walk around kind of like aware of what's going on than to just be straight through, because anything can happen. And well, especially when you've been exposed to trauma and stuff like that, like I've got mad hypervigilance, like crazy hypervigilance. So I'm always expecting something to happen. But when you do start putting boundaries in place and you do start saying no, you notice that people that actually care about you respect that. Because you need to understand it's coming from love. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to like do anything bad to anyone. I'm trying to protect my peace. I'm trying to protect myself, and it's love. And people that appreciate you will appreciate that. Those that don't, cool, they're not there to rock with you in the first place. So it kind of helps weed that out, because then you think, okay, you don't appreciate the boundary or me and what I'm putting in place, so you probably don't actually really respect me, or you only just want something from me, so you're probably not someone I need in my life. And it helps. Yeah. And I'm fortunate I've not got too many of those. It seems to be like in work, in careers and life that I've experienced that. But in terms of friends and people I know and stuff, I've got people who totally understand and are great people and appreciate me for me. So if they appreciate me for me, why am I not doing the same? Yeah. It's like I owe it to myself too. Like, these guys love you because of who you are. So why don't you love you for who you are? And then just work for it that way.
The most validating relationship, and when it's mutually respected, mutually beneficial, that's 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times more validating than any of them relationships where you try and people please with someone. Because I've been in that position where, you know, you're a people pleaser, you think, I need everyone to be my friend. And then as you get older and you develop the skill to reflect and look back, you think, actually, why did I bother with these people? Because they were taken and never given. And you've mentioned a few tools, and I don't want to keep going back to therapy, but one thing that I am interested in, out of all them tools, what do you think was the biggest one that you learned?
In therapy?
Yeah.
One of them was, I forget the word, there's what are energizers and drainers. So things that energize you, things that drain you. And my therapist had me write a list of things. And even like the gym was in there as an energizer, but the gym's draining. Yeah. It's exhausting because you're going in and putting your body through stuff. So it's looking at what I enjoy doing and it actually gives me life and gives me that fulfills me and pours into that cup. And what you might be good at doing something, it doesn't mean it's right for you, if that makes sense. This might be a drainer. Hang around this person. You might think this person's cool, but this person might actually be a drain on you. This person might not have your best interests at heart. So being able to do that, I think, was a big help because, you know, it allows you to sort of, and I don't know why, having things written down helps so much. Like you can see it there in black and white, and it's like, okay, this has actually made me feel good. Like, for example, with Ghost, look at the Arnold fitness expert, right?
Yeah.
The most incredible weekend. It was tiring, no doubt, but it was so energizing for me. Being around people, all that electricity, it just, I felt like I was just like plugged into like, I don't know, like pylon somewhere and just like siphoning energy. And that, though it was draining, it wasn't a drainer, that's an energizer. So to me, that tells me I need to do things more like that, because as exhausting physically as it was, I could have gone all week. Because you know, whereas doing other things might not have that same effect as you. You might be good at doing something, like I might be good at working a certain job, and put me in an office, that's gonna drain me. I'm not made for an office, bro. I've worked in an office, I'm not made for it. Right? It's draining because I'm having to adapt and change how I am. That's not always a bad thing, but I'm having to manage and it's like, okay, cool, but is this really worth it? Probably not. You probably need to move that on and look at something else. So definitely looking at what energizes you and what drains you is huge. It's one of the things I learned, and it's amazing.
Do you think you get better at that when you have more of an understanding of what your core values are as a
100%,
person?
100%. And learning to be authentically you. And this is one of the biggest things I think I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be me. Like, because like you said, when you're people pleasing, you're not being yourself. You're putting on all these different masks to appease different people. And then it's like, I always use random metaphors and stuff like this, and like examples. You ever seen The Flash before? Not the TV show.
Right. The CW one.
That's it. So
the best Flash, by the way.
The film. Let's just not. Let's not. I was furious watching that film. I was like, and my partner hadn't seen the Flash series, and now she's seen that. She's like, I get it now. I get why. But do you remember there's a meta-human in that where he shapeshifts? And then when they catch him, he's like, I don't know who I am anymore. That again, I'm watching that, and I'm like, oh my god. And my brain literally just went, oh, right. Like, because that's what it can be like. You're putting on all these masks to be different around different people, where you should want to be you. So I started to do that, but then the difference is, and I think this is where I got into a big debate with someone about this, there's a difference between being authentic and real and being like a loudmouth. So, you know, you get those people that are like, I just say it how it is. I just say it how it is. That's not necessarily being authentically you, because authenticity is being you, but also there needs to be like a self-awareness with that of how to present that. Like, if you don't like something and you think it's a piece of crap, you don't need to say it's a piece of crap. That you can say, I'm not really feeling that. You're still being authentic, because you're not being like, oh yeah, that's really cool, but in your head thinking, no.
You don't need rage better people.
Right? So you're saying how you feel, you're being authentic to yourself, but you package it in a different way. It's the same with whoever I'm around. Like, I'm not being funny, if I'm around my black friends, it's going to be a very loud cultural experience, but you're still getting the same John. I'm not going to change who I am. I'm not all of a sudden going to start saying wild things or change necessarily in a more corporate environment. I'm still going to be me. I'm going to stand on my values, and I think that is the beauty, is being authentically you and being proud of who that is, but being able to stick with that, you know, because sometimes it can challenge things, and you can say, look, this doesn't align with me. And it's like, okay, well, what are you going to do then? Are you going to stay, or are you have to make these decisions? But being able to be authentically you is so important, and that's why even those people that say stuff like that, where they're like, yeah, I just say it how it is, I'm like, well, you're a loudmouth then. Because what you should do is say, right, cool, you can say how it is, but not in that unfiltered, savage way. That doesn't make you an authentic person. That makes you someone who's just not afraid to just, you know, but like I say, you can still say what you're trying to say without, you know, with an intelligence behind it, which again is what I'm trying to do, and making more decisions based on that, saying no to things and not wanting to do things. And that's why, and to be honest with you, that's probably one of the reasons why I've not tried to force myself to make any music this year, because I'm like, of course I want to make it, but I'm like, you know what, bro, like right now, it's actually not a priority. It's not making, I mean, I get paid obviously performances and stuff, but I've not got a whole lot of them booked, and I've done them pretty much for the year now. So it's like, that's not what you want to do. So rather than forcing yourself, because I'm thinking, oh, people want to hear my music, oh, this, it doesn't matter. I don't really want to do that right now. That's cool. I'm going to do this because this aligns with me. I'm enjoying my life.
Making sure it's in the right cup.
Exactly, exactly. And I think there was a thing I saw, it was about filling up a bath water with too much water, with all these different things. And I definitely tried to do that growing up because, you know, I wanted to be good at all these different things. But again, I wanted to be good at all these different things because I wanted to be liked.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be loved and appreciated by people. Whereas the biggest person that I want to be appreciated by now is me.
Yeah.
I want to be proud of who I am. And if you could split me in half and like, you know, want to like take my younger self out and like have us two there, I want to know that he is safe in the room with a big man. That's what I want. That's what I want. So that's the most important relationship that I'm trying to work on. And I don't know, I feel like in being me in that way, other people can see that and you gravitate towards people that are like that.
100%.
You know, and if you don't, that's cool. We're probably not supposed to be on the same page. You stay over there, I'm gonna stay over here, you know?
Yeah. Validation's a hell of a drug, isn't it? Like looking back and thinking about it, and like, you know, when you do, especially when you do like acting and performing and stuff.
Of course.
And you know, when you got like your first stage gig, how hard was it not to be like, I'm the dog's bees here. I'm the man. I'm going to be doing this globally and stuff. Like, was there a point of where you had to be like, oh, actually, I can go down that road?
Nah, I'll be honest, there's not. I've not quite got that. I used to have a little bit of that when I was younger, where I might think that because it was false confidence, but I'm probably a bit more so the other side now, where there's that voice that's like, relax, big man.
Yeah.
Where are you performing? What is this? This is only a small venue, chill out. That's what my voice will do to me all the time. So then I have to be like, yo, but listen, you're performing in front of people.
Yeah.
So it's more of an appreciation. Like I made one song called Ego.
Yeah.
And I like it because it is the song is what it is. It's, you know, I'm feeling like a million, laughing. We all have days when we feel good. You put on a good fit, you feel good. You're allowed to feel like that.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted that song to express that, you know, and I had some things going on in my head, and it actually stemmed from someone trying to give me advice in, not our gym, but in a gym about stuff. And he was like talking about his friend that wanted to compete. And I'm thinking, bro, I've been there, done that. Like, but I'm listening, and bro, this has happened to me so much.
I've got the T-shirt.
I've got the trophies. They are. I need to clean them. They're dusty. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and this has happened so much to me in my life. You wouldn't believe it. Like, but people telling me about something that I already know. And I just sit there and I'm like, yeah. Like, it happened at a gym that I worked at once, and the guy was just waffling. And one of my friends was jumping. I was like, just shush. He walked off. Sausage came in a couple of days later, and he was like, I didn't know you've been on stage and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're there running your mouth, but I'm not, you know, just be humble, because also you might be here, but there's someone that's always here. But I made the song Ego because it was like, you know, you do feel good sometimes, and sometimes you need that. It's not
you need a bit of swagger sometimes.
Exactly that. And I think, you know, but I can never get above my pay grade, because it's like, there's the ambitious side of, it would be amazing if I could do this. Like when I went to Cyprus, it's Cyprus Comic Con, biggest stage I've ever been on. Like, there were so many high profile actors and cosplayers and all these different people, and I was just like, I looked at the stage and was like, bro, you're here. Like, and then they had this crazy firework display going on, and it had like Pokemon and different anime things up, and then I was nearly crying because I was like, inner child is screaming right now, like, there's a Pokeball. Like, it was mad, and I just, rather than thinking like, yeah, I'm the guy, look where I am, it was more like, wow, I can't believe where I am.
Yeah.
And having that appreciation helps keep that ego and confidence in check, but I also don't want to shut that down to play myself down like I have done a lot. You know, like when people are trying to tell me about, oh yeah, you should do this, I'm like, right, okay, cool. So one of the first lines is like, don't they understand that they are talking to a goat? Like, all I see are clowns, they laughing around and telling jokes. Like, that's because I was in the gym listening to these clowns talk to me, but I'm not going to go over to him and like try and prove who I am. I just thought, cool. But then again, I sat back and I thought about how it made me feel, and like, actually, let me put something like that out. Again, allow me to just express that. And
it goes back to what you were saying before about them values and, you know, not being a loudmouth and not running it off. The fact that you had that peace of mind and that reflection to be almost like, I could spray this person here. I could pick them apart and make them like feel shit about themselves, but actually that's not me.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
And I can step away from it. And you can 100%. Let someone else do your talking because you've walked it. And I think that's a beautiful thing. But before we wrap up, there's two sections that we want to go, and one's a quick fire. I know we talked about the questions and I held some of these back, so I've got like 4 or 5 questions. So the first one is, what's something people get consistently wrong about you?
Really overconfident, and you know, like nothing phases me, because trust me, it does. Trust me, things do, and I'm confident in what I do. Don't get me wrong, and I'm more like assured in what I do, but I'm not an overconfident person.
Most irrational fear?
Oh, a can, like a gas canister falling over and blowing up. You know, like, honest, generally.
Have you seen 22 Jump Street when they keep shooting the trucks?
And then
and then it's
like,
the chicken one that
what game was
blows
it?
up.
It was Gears of War. They used to have the ones in the corner and you'd shoot them and it'd blow up. And like, if I drive past gas canisters on the motorway, I'm like, to the point where my friend Jay, right, sent me a video of gas canisters in New York. He was like, yo, you'd be tripping at this now. And I'm like, yeah, I really would. So, yeah, it's more just a rational fear.
You can only pick one flavour of Ghost. Which one?
What, energy drinks?
Yeah.
Sour Warheads watermelon. Sozzy Wozzy, that's my stuff.
Favourite cheat meal?
Oh, I'm impartial to a Domino's.
Yeah.
I do like a good Domino's.
Which one? What pizza?
Texas barbecue, take off the bacon, put on the pineapple, make it thin and crispy and get a garlic bread.
Very specific, I love that.
They know what's in there. They know about us in there.
When do you feel most like yourself, music or content creation?
Oh. It's supposed to be quick fire, but I'm like, I'm stumped for this. I think that's really difficult because content creation, because it is me creating me and moments and things that I want to say. Even if I'm putting funny captions on it, it's my thought. So, but I'd say they're probably equal because music allows me to express myself in a different way, which is still me. So I know it's a cop out, but I'd say they're probably equal.
Today, if your life was a song title, what would it be?
Another day.
Perfect. You flew through it. Literally quick fire to it. We got one stumbling block.
Yeah.
But before we close, there's always two questions that I ask people. And the first one is, if there was 3 habits or routines that you'd recommend to the everyday person, what would they be and why?
3, as in things like journaling and stuff like that.
Yeah, it can be anything.
I'm going to be honest, it's hard for me to pick 3 because I don't think people should have the pressure of being told what habits should be good for them. Journaling's great. I've journaled before.
Yeah.
I've not journaled in a few months. And there's a lot of pressure for me to start journaling. And I looked at it this morning and was like, I got distracted. And so I think what I would say is the habit is find your habits.
Nice.
Again, real cop out. I'm just going around here. But it's like find the things that align with you and things that you can consistently do. I know I can go to the gym. I know I can eat the same meals each day. And I know that I can take a bit of time to myself each day to, even if as I'm driving to work, have a little bit of self-reflection. Do you know how many podcasts I've interviewed myself on? I've been on so many podcasts, you wouldn't believe it. But those are my 3 habits that I'll do every day because they help ground me and they help keep me consistent in things I want to do. So I would say the habit you need to do is find the habits that are for you and just keep repeating them. To the point where they're autonomous, you don't think about it. I can get up and go to the gym and I'm like, how did I get here? I don't know, I've got an energy drink, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, and I can make them autonomous.
So this one is more about you.
Okay.
If there was one habit or routine that you've done in the past and stopped doing, or there's a habit and routine that you wish you was doing right now, what would that one habit be and why?
Do you know what? I want to get into the habit of, I was going to say running, but I don't really want to get into running. I like the idea of running and the freeness I got told about it, but I enjoy running with the run club because it's fun and it's a vibe. I honestly don't know because I think the habits that I've got at the moment are keeping me going.
Yeah.
I think maybe journaling because again, seeing things black and white does help. And I definitely have felt good when, you know, like I want to write things in there. I want to write what are my wins for today. And one of the things in my journal is what's going to make today great. That was great for me because it's like, okay, no matter what happens today, remember you said this would make your day great. And if that's happened, your day's great.
Yeah.
You know, but then there was the flip side of, but then if it doesn't happen, this day was a flop. I would say maybe journaling. But at the moment, the habits I've got in place, I don't have to think about them. And there's the beauty of it because then they're not a task. You know, whereas at the moment, journaling is kind of like I'm having to get it back into the routine. You know, and like say this morning, I was like, right, cool. Bro, the pen is there. I can see it on my table right now. And I was like, right, I'm going to make my yogurt. And then I was like, right, I need a wig. And I was like, just done loads of different things. Yeah. Then I was editing a video that I posted on Instagram. And then I've come here and the journal's still just chilling on the table.
Yeah.
So I think my habits at the moment, I think I'm really happy with because they're just keeping me going. And if there's days where I'm struggling, I can just still do them. And it's not, I don't have to think about them. They just keep me going. They keep me grounded. And also keep me a bit fulfilled because it's like, you've still done that. Like, be proud, like, you still...
So when?
You know, yeah, literally, like, you didn't really want to leave your house today, but you've still gone and done that work. Well done, man. You know, so, yeah.
Bro, you're a legend. Thank you so much for having me on.
Man. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so thankful and appreciative of you being so transparent and open, and I've got so much from it myself, so I assume everyone else will.
I really hope so,
to
man.
it, and yeah, man, class. Thank you so much. But before we go, let people know where they can find you and where they can check you out.
You guys can find me on Instagram, Jon Fox, Jon, there's no H in it. JONFOX, 2 underscores, because somebody took my name already apparently. TikTok, I'm on there as well, but I would say Instagram's probably the best place to find me on there. If you want to find my music, search JFX, J-FX, on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, all the streaming services, you can find it on there. Yeah, that's where to find me.
I'll put that all in the description.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for allowing me to share this. I think it's really important, like, you know, that people are able to share stuff like this and share who they are, and hopefully someone out there is going to listen to this and think, wow, even if it's, I didn't know he was going through all that.
Yeah,
you know, people often say that, like, you wouldn't have thought that you've been through what you've been through. I'm like, oh, we're scratching the surface.
Yeah.
We've not even gone deep in yet. Even my team, we're not. So yes, I thank you for providing this, not just for me, but for everyone. It's really appreciative.
My honour, mate, and if it can help one person, what a thing that is. So
Exactly that.
Very appreciative of you, mate. Thank you very much. And peace. We'll see you for the next one.
Peace out.